Birmingham City Council calls the Joint Budget and Finance Committee meeting and Committee of the Whole meeting to order. It is Monday, November 13th, and the time is 3:33 p.m. Councilors, have you had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Is there a motion for approval?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes have passed. Next is consideration of the consent agenda. Councilors, do you have any items you would like to place on consent?
Yes, ma'am.
Councilor Abbott.
I have items 4, 5, 6, 4 and 5 are on page 1, 6, 7 are on page 2, 8 is on page 3, and 12 is on page 4, and 13 is on page 5, and 20 is on page 7.
I think item 13 was asked to be left off.
Yes, I was gonna
consent.
say, I'd
Yeah.
like to leave that one on consent.
Okay, that's fine, this was just
Okay.
what I wrote.
Yeah,
okay.
and then item number 7 was withdrawn from the administration as well. So that's items 4 and 5 on page 1, item 6 on page 2, item 8 on page 3, item 12 on page 4, and item 20 on page 7. Okay. Is there a motion?
I move approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The consent agenda passes. If your item is placed on consent, you may enjoy your afternoon. Otherwise, first item is item number 9.
Madam Chair, for item 9, there is an amendment for an additional $500 to come from the District 3 account. That's Councilor Abbott's district, bringing the total amount to the donation from $500 to $1,000. The GL code for the additional $500 is 001 010 04230 04231 527 014. Now, I do understand that there's supposed to be some changes to the language, but I'm not familiar with the language change.
It was changed? Okay. And this is in agreement with the Mid-South chapter of the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society for new signs coming from the Red Mount Park Neighborhood and District 3 office.
Move the item.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The item passes. Next item is item number 10.
We have James Fowler come up and speak. We're closer to the mic so they can be.
Hi,
Aye.
James Fowler. I serve as the director of the city's Department of Transportation. So this item, we actually applied for a TAP grant. TAP stands for Transportation Alternatives Program grant. And we were awarded this is through ALDOT. So we were awarded an $800,000 grant. And the match for that would be $200,000 from the city. And this is for, I printed off some renderings, but this is to put in a raised cycle track between the new Caraway development and Norwood Boulevard. So actually on the second page, you can kind of see the extent. But it would involve resurfacing the road and then putting in actually an elevated cycle track. So you could get from the park and Norwood Boulevard in Norwood over to the new Caraway Hospital redevelopment, which is being called the STAR. So that's what this project is for. And so this allows us to enter into that agreement with ALDOT and make the commitment to go forward with the project.
Okay. Committee members, do you have any questions? Councilor Abbott.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, this is a 2-block stretch. So at the end of 2 blocks, where do they go?
It's a great question. So on the western end, so that's the hospital, so that's Caraway Boulevard. There's a traffic signal there. So the signal will stop traffic and allow you to cross safely over into what will become the new development. So we're working with Corporate Realty to lay that out, but actually there will be kind of a small pedestrian, bicycle-friendly street across the intersection within the development to receive people that are going there. On the eastern end of this corridor, there is a park on the southern side, I forget the name of the park that's there, but then there's also Norwood Boulevard, which is essentially kind of a linear park. So it essentially ties from the neighborhood underneath the railroad tracks over to the hospital. So it connects those two. And if you have a mental image of 15th Avenue, it's a really, really wide street, and so it allows people to drive really, really fast. And so what's not shown on this image is actually there will be a little bit of a landscape buffer between the cycle track and the roadway, so it'll feel really comfortable. So it's something hopefully you feel comfortable, taking your kids on.
So, if you say it was raised, how high is it raised above the roadway?
6 inches.
So it just has a curb to stop cars from coming on?
Yes, ma'am.
And if it's gonna have a landscape buffer, who's going to maintain it? Because that would be a really dangerous place for Public Works to have a few guys or ladies out trying to maintain a landscape buffer with the cars speeding by. There might be safe from the bicycles, but it seems that landscaping might be dangerous to try to maintain. Therefore, it might just die because nobody maintains it.
So today, there's a landscape buffer between the sidewalk and the street. And so we haven't, this is obviously a conceptual rendering, so we have to finish the design, but it should, when it's finished, feel like it's more or less a part of that person's yard, similar to how we have the sidewalk today. And also, traffic should be going a lot slower than they are today. So the homeowners today mow that landscape strip in front of their house. So when this is done, I think still the homeowner would have to mow that extra couple feet of grass.
Oh, okay, I thought it was out here, like between the bicycle lane and the street.
It would be, yes ma'am. It's shown as green on there to get an emphasis in the picture, but it probably won't be green. It'll just look like a wide sidewalk.
Okay, but the landscaping's not gonna be on the side
It
where the
actually,
street and the bicycle lanes meet.
it actually would be. So it would be between the bike lanes and the street, just like we have a landscape strip between the sidewalk and the street today.
Okay, looking at what happened on Green Springs Highway, it just seems to me that putting landscaping out on the edge of a road where people are not supposed to speed, but they do it anyway, is dangerous. And it won't be good. But we'll see. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam President?
Yes, I just wanted to piggyback on that question. So we have the green that's here. So you're saying this will go out to that length, and that's where the mowing that would have to be done by the individual homeowner? Or how far is this going out?
So, can I borrow yours for a
Yes, sir.
second? Okay. So there would be a landscape strip between
there.
right there.
Okay.
And just like there is
Mhm.
here today. So whatever they're mowing there, they would have
Come up there and
a
do
little bit
that. Okay.
there as well.
Okay.
So it'll just be grass. Nobody will have to be out there taking care of bushes. and-
It won't be anything complicated. For streets like 15th Avenue that are really, really wide, my hope is long-term we can find ways to continue to narrow those streets, because I think it seemed generous and a good idea when we built really wide streets, but what we're finding is we're having to maintain that space anyways through resurfacing, so we're definitely having to maintain it, but then also it just enables that faster driving that is less comfortable and ultimately less safe.
Okay, I don't have any questions. Was there a motion and a second?
Move the item.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Number item 10 passes. Thank you, Mr. Fowler. Next is item number 11, and this is a donation to the city of Birmingham in the amount of $2,000 from Walmart, store number 0762, located in Roebuck, for use by Birmingham Fire and Rescue Stations 27, 28, 29, and 30.
We got Fire Marshal Jackie Hicks, they'll speak on item.
I'm Jackie Hicks. I'm serving as administrative chief of assistant chief of administration for BFRS. The item you have before you is a donation from the Roebuck Walmart in the amount of $2,000. The donation will be distributed between 4 of our stations, 27, 28, 29, and 30, and there is no impact to the city.
Madam President, do you have any questions?
Well, how kind of Walmart.
Yes,
The
very
others
kind.
would do this. And so there's no stipulation on the use of the donation, or is it specific, any specifics?
No, ma'am, we're gonna let our station captains that manage those stations, however the money is divided, decide what they need to use.
And it's equally divided, or is it based on need of each of the four?
Should be equally divided.
Okay, thank you.
Council Abbott?
Yeah, I was reading this item, and the last sentence says that the mayor's authorized to accept the equipment. And is it just money? It says equipment here. Are you getting some equipment from Walmart?
No, ma'am, to my knowledge, the information we received is only $2,000 donation.
Okay, so equipment should just be acceptance of the donation.
For the donated funds.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
What are we using these funds for? Is it for equipment?
It's gonna be the discretion of those station captains, and it's more so for the station, not equipment, because we purchase our own equipment, so most of the station use.
Well, is there a
I
motion?
move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Item number 11 passes. Thank you. Next item is item number 13. Actually, we can bring up 13, 14, 15, and 16, 17,
18.
and 18,
19.
and 19.
So, Madam Chair, Mr. Hauser is coming up. I want to just give a brief overview before he jumps in and give a presentation on all the different organizations for the bowl. So if you know, this is probably like our with sixth iteration of the bowl agreement that we've done in IEO, and we see this as a long-lasting impact for our economic development department to kind of not offset any costs for our organizations, but help build the capacities in those different organizations and helping, to speak towards the strategic plan that the mayor has for the entire city and not just the sector. So I'll let Mr. Howard speak on it and give a brief overview of how we've always done the bowl agreements and announcements and going through the whole process of vetting these different people through our conference that we have with the different people that are assigned to assist us and work on selecting those vendors. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Howard.
All right, well, good afternoon. Favorite time of the year, we're back with bowl. So I'm Corey Hauser, I serve as Deputy Director for the Department of Innovation. And sit down?
Yeah.
Yes. I'll let you sit here. So Corey Hauser, I serve as Deputy Director for the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. So excited to bring this year's finalists for bowl for your consideration. So first, thank you for the allocation of bowl in the FY24 budget. We are always appreciative. It is one of our flagship programs that we take a lot of pride in making sure that it's equitable throughout the city and that we're really getting a return on the taxpayer dollars that we're issuing out to some of these organizations. And so Rachel Buchan here is a fairly new face. She's been around, but she joined our team about 2 years ago and has really taken bold as one of her primary projects. And so she's created a handbook. She's streamlined a lot of the information, helped Keith, Attorney Sheffield, with the contracts being a little easier. So I wanted her to have the opportunity to talk through some of the improvements that we've done through bowl to make sure that we've become more equitable And so you guys can see the full picture of like how we get to these finalists. Now there are 7 finalists, so we can go through all of them at once and then ask questions, or would you like for us to stop after each item, like after each organization for questions? Because we do have representation if there's like any like specific program.
Yeah, let's stop after each one.
Gotcha. All right, well, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Rachel. She can introduce herself.
Great, well, thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to meet many of you. Before we jump in, I did want to give a little bit of context, as Coriate was saying. If we can get the next slide, Cody, thank you so much. So, this is not a new program before you. Bold was started in 2018, specifically because the city wanted to create a process that would transparently allocate city funding to organizations in community and economic development. That is specifically for the 6 reasons on the screen today. We wanted to align partners specifically with city priorities that we were investing taxpayer dollars in. We wanted to distribute that funding to more partners instead of just a few that might have gotten it before. We wanted to create a specific method to require leverage from community partners so that we could see increased impact in Birmingham. We also wanted transparency in that allocation of city dollars, promoting collaboration between partners, and as Coriate alluded to, we wanted to start being able to determine return on investment for city taxpayer dollars. So that's all fun to say, but what has it actually done? So that's been one of my favorite parts that I've gotten to work on, is actually quantifying the impact that we've had over these 5 years. The group we're bringing to you today is our 6th group. So with the close of 2023, we've now had 5 years of Bold. If we can, yep, you're already on it, Cody. So we've had 43 partners. That has had a total capital investment of $11.6 million for the small investment from the city of Birmingham of only $3.8 million. It's pretty amazing. But even beyond that, I think you know of this administration that what we care about most is the people. And so on this next slide, you'll see that it actually touched 6,000 Birmingham businesses. Sorry, 5,000 Birmingham businesses and 6,000 Birmingham residents with more than 5,000 direct services. So we know that Bold is working, and we wanted to make sure that the Bold objectives, geographic priority areas, and process were equitable. So in this next slide, you'll see the 6 Bold objectives. You can read through those. It spans small businesses to workforce development to data-driven innovation. Every single Bold applicant is weighed on whether they can show a competitive case that they can make an impact in one or more of these objectives. On the next slide, you'll also see there are 8 geographic priority areas. This was something we recently implemented because of a belief in place-based economic development, and that's that sustained investment in communities creates a difference. So with that, I'm also going to run through the timeline and process so that you all can have a sense of how we got to these 7 partners that we are presenting today. The 3 stages are in this teal middle part of the slide. We do want to give a special thanks and shout out to Jeff, who has been just an incredible support throughout the process and even sat on 2 different review panels to hear in-person presentations. So first, we do an eligibility check just to make sure that every single application has submitted what is required and that we're reviewing them equitably. The second process is the exact same group reads every single application so that we understand how they're weighed against each other and the strengths and weaknesses of each and every one. The third process is the stage that Jeff has been so generous to join in, and let me tell you, not that one person has the best questions, but he often does. And that's when we actually invite finalists to come in person and present their programs so that we can ask direct questions and hear about their programs and build a relationship throughout the process. You'll see in the first column here that the application was open 30 days. We provide technical assistance and one-on-one office hours throughout those 30 days. We are also really excited to share this year. We had the most robust outreach we've ever had. We had the start of what we're calling the Boots on the Ground team, which was a collaboration between the Economic Development and our Community Resources Department. We actually physically took flyers into the neighborhoods and met with neighborhood representatives to try to get the word out beyond just the city center and into the neighborhoods. We also shared the information through city channels and wanted to thank City Council for sharing information that we provided as well. So that brings us to today. That was a lot of background information. Thank you for letting me bend your ear. Behind me, we have 7 bold finalists for a total amount of $808,000 with over $1 million leveraged separately that they are contributing toward the program as well. These are your 7 finalists here, and like last year, we are really proud and really excited to say that they are all minority or women-led organizations. They are all neighborhood-based or neighborhood-focused organizations, and collectively, we made sure that they all touched on the bold objectives and geographic priority areas. So, if you are ready, we can jump into the 7 individual programs. We will pause at the end of each one so that you can ask any questions that come up.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, they're in a different order in the agenda. All right, no problem. We're going to jump right into Birthwell Partners. That is slide 11, Cody. Thank you so much. So Birthwell Partners is a woman-led 501c3 organization. Their mission is to improve maternal and infant health and, by extension, economic opportunities for families in Birmingham's neighborhoods. So there are 2 prongs to their project. The first is overcoming barriers to economic opportunity, specifically by providing birth doula services, childbirth and parenting classes, and maternal health advocacy. They're going to serve at least 80 Birmingham residents. Now, I want to emphasize these are not health services, but instead advocacy. And the reason that's important is because it's been shown to improve health outcomes for birthing families here in Birmingham. The second prong of their program is workforce development. They're going to specifically train 3 new doulas, as well as provide continuing education for 10 existing doulas. So with that, let me take a quick pause and see what questions might have arisen.
Yes, Madam President.
Thank you very much. I know this is a returning bold awardee, and I just want to know their growth over this period of time. I know that there was some workforce development and then the advocacy. I just wanted to see, in your opinion, from what is ongoing, what the gain will be, and that is these additional workforce, people in the workforce, or what?
And I'll let her speak to the very programmatic part of it, but from a city standpoint, as far as dollars, we tell all of our organizations that BOLD is not intended to be year over funding. So it's not an operational cost that you've been paying on for like 5 or 10 years, right? And so we go through the exercise with each one of them to say, if you're returning, how do we ensure that as a second-year BOLD or finalist, that your impact is either greater, or there's a greater in number, or greater in impact as far as services that you provide. And so thankfully, Birthwell, and this is why I want her to talk, because she's monitoring their current metrics, but they have performed very well currently this year with their impact, and really thought through whether or not to apply again this year, and then what that looks like with a geographic priority area as well. So I'll let Rachel pick up on the actual metrics that we currently have in place.
I'm really glad you asked that question, because that's a conversation we have a lot internally. And there are a couple things specifically we looked at with any repeat applicant. One was, are they seeing success, which would indicate the need for the service in Birmingham? And secondly, to Coriate's point, making sure it's not just year over funding for operational costs. We actually say, how do we make sure of that? And with every repeat Bold awardee, we make sure that any operational costs were cut in half with their second year, and we initiated the conversation from the project negotiation of how we plan to use this year to scale, find new funding, and not need Bold.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay, Counselor Abbott?
Yeah, I wanted to ask, there's 8 communities that we're focused on, but if an MWDBE organization business was not located in one of those, would they be considered, or they would have to move?
No, they'll still be considered. So the only reason why we put those geographic priority areas there is because place-based development proves that outcomes will become, there's a greater potential for the outcomes of the residents in place-based. And so we put those 8 geographic priority areas in place in collaboration with community development, who also has some of the same, so that we can see where place-based development actually happens and the outcome from that versus sort of saying, hey, we will serve the entire city, so you may get 1 here, 2 there, 3 there, and the impact is felt differently when it's across the city versus when it's hyper-focused in one sort of area or neighborhood. But that does not disqualify any person that is a resident of Birmingham or business, depending on the services, to take advantage of that. We just have an extra primary focus in those particular areas.
Okay, so their business doesn't have to be located in these places, but they should focus their efforts
Right.
in those places.
Right.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay. Counselor Tate?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. You said an expansion of 3 new duals, correct? How many duals have been currently trained to date?
Yeah.
May I call up Bridgewell?
Make sure.
So I'm not sure if you heard, but Counselor Tate asked how many new doulas have been trained for new residents.
So, 13, is that the right number? So it's complicated. So people who were not doulas and have no training at all, we trained 13, and we have 2 already signed up for March coming up. But we also reached out to current doulas, people that we've trained over the past few years, and provided them extra support. So that's a bigger number, and I don't have it.
It's about a dozen, it's continuing education.
So,
And some became contractors.
okay. And another question is, it's 7 organizations, so I guess for me, and I probably can say this for all of the other counselors, how do we get this information to our constituents and to people in the community? Because we can, get these programs, but people are not well aware of, what is transpiring in the city. I think it's a really breakdown in communication because I know about Burkeville because I met, with one of the people before. Cannot remember your name. Forgive me. And so just the expansion, like how do we help you guys expand to put this information, out there, for people to know that this is available. We got these doulas to help you with your verse. So I would love for you guys to give us information about the training and the opportunity for the 3 new people as well.
So we'll after we have a fully executed contract, we will send the entire council sort of social media posts that you can share, and then we'll also have their contact information shared directly if you want to refer somebody over to them. So we'll make sure we share all of that with you guys so that you can get out to your constituents.
Do you guys have any one-pagers, like fact sheets where we can distribute, like when we go to our neighborhoods meeting, put in the news you can use? Love to have that.
I'll say also, Counselor Tate, one of the indicators of success with Bold awardees is actually that they treat us like a partner and reach out and say, hey, we have these materials, can you share them with your constituents and on your social media channels? And one thing I was so impressed with Burkeville this past year is they were communicative through all of it. When they had a new class, we were able to share that on social media. So we can make sure that that gets shared with your team as well to push that out through council.
Chief, is this something the mayor will be willing to put in one of his mailers? Because we have a lot of older residents that are on social media. We have?
In the physical mail?
Yeah, I think we have.
Okay.
And we try to, I know that the mayor has always tried to highlight every last one of the bold applicants once it's approved by the council, but, and like, to the council takes point, we want to make it as loud as possible for people to have access to these programs, because it doesn't benefit us around the table, it benefits the citizens at the end of the day.
You know, there's such a big generational gap with people who are on social media, or sometimes you can miss somebody's social media post depending on the algorithm.
And
So,
that's why we want to work with your comms people and then our comms people work together to try and amplify that message to everybody.
Okay. Do you guys have any more questions?
I have one.
Yes, Ms. Adams.
So if a person wanted to know more about bold, could they input bold in the little search box on our website and actually find something?
Yes.
It's in multiple locations that on our website, IEO has their own Facebook, Instagram page where they promote it. Like we said, going forward, we'll make sure that the council's more apprised. I think we have, that's why we try to include Mr. McDaniels in the actual overall spectrum of it. But yes, we want to amplify it every year. That's why it's number 6 of the year of doing bold. So we want to make it bigger and better as we go. Especially because Mr. Hauser he always asks me for more money for bold.
It is coming back around this time, so it will be. Yes, yeah.
But I just wanted to know about the city's website, because not everybody wants to be on Facebook
Right.
and all that other
It's out
stuff,
there.
but they know where our website is. But for instance, you know, if you put in zoning ordinance in the search box, you get nothing. We don't have one. But we know we have one.
Yeah.
So if you put in bold, are you gonna find anything, or is it gonna just be?
You'll find it, and then you already are aware that we're in the process of revamping our city website so it'll be more efficient and effective.
Well,
So,
thank you.
so yes.
Fabulous. Just, you know, referring people to the website's always dicey, because you don't know what they're gonna find.
We totally agree.
And I would say the easiest way also to get to bold is birminghamal.gov/bold.
Bold, yes.
From there, you can go anywhere for the application, program, timeline, anything you need.
Even the impact report is on there now too.
But for average people, they might not know about
Mhm.
Birmingham/bold, you know, I mean, let's just face it. Not everybody's gonna know that, but it's good for us.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Next organization.
All right, next up, we have Bundles of Hope. All right, so Bundles of Hope is a woman-led 501c3 neighborhood-based organization. They care for Birmingham by meeting the basic, essential, and monthly needs of families. Specifically, this goal funding will go to support a project that will help overcome barriers for 1,500 Birmingham residents. The way that they're going to do that is providing 1,000 diapers, 160,000 wipes, and 100,000 period products to Birmingham residents. So let me pause there.
Hi.
This is Lindsay Gray.
Okay, Lindsay, do you have any more information for us?
I was just answering any questions you guys might have.
Okay. Committee members, do you have any questions? Councilor Abbott?
How does this support the bold mission to build opportunities for lasting development? How does that?
Yeah, so
This
one
was
of
kind of a
the,
stretch for me. I was trying to figure out exactly how diapers help develop. I mean,
Sure.
except with the child who probably needs them.
so one of the objectives of BOLD is overcoming barriers, and that can be everything from food access to diapers to anything that is a financial constraint and might take what someone might spend toward getting a suit or putting energy toward an interview and help lift some of the barriers and burdens the Birmingham families face. So that's one thing we'll say. The second thing is we actually had a scoring criteria in applications that any applicant had to make a statistical, data-driven connection between the service they were providing and economic opportunities. And Ms. Gray was able to make that connection in her application.
And that's good. Good to hear. Yeah, I was just trying to figure it out because I thought we were, supporting business opportunities that would expand. And so this kind of didn't fit into my thought about how this was going to work, but it's working differently than I thought.
Yeah, I think the team I think it's 6 objectives.
Yeah.
That they try to align the allocation to the objectives and not just the name bold. Because I know the predecessor before Mr. Cornell Wesley, that was Mr. Carpenter. He was good at acronyms, so I think it was. Yeah, he was a big acronym guy. So I don't want to get lost in just the name of bold, but the objectives is what they try to kind of hit on.
Well, and of course, economic development.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Madam Pro Tem.
Yes, I just had a question about your distribution of the period products. Will you be distributing them through elementary, high schools, or how will you work that as far as, because I know there have been a lot of drives or campaigns, and even there have been some legislation that wanted to. Thank you. So just wanted to see, just give a little idea of how that you'll be supporting the community through that.
Our distribution is only as successful as our contacts we make. So unfortunately, that doesn't happen in every school. We will focus on the high school.
Okay.
If we don't have success there, obviously, the most periods are going to be done on the high school level. We can go to middle school and elementary. But yes, our focus will be high schools. And we've got about 70 partnerships. And so they also receive period partners on top of diapers. So we kind of have a dual way to distribute. In the event we struggle with one, we can distribute another way as well.
Perfect. And I'm going to piggyback on Councilor Tate's direction for the last bowl recipient is just working with the council members to help to increase those partnerships or to make awareness of that this is something that you're providing to the community. Because I know in Winona High School there's a pantry that has been set up where people are trying to put these type items in that pantry where any young lady could go and through without she can go on her own and go in and try to get those supplies. So if you just really, I think we just love to get that message out, all of us, to our community. So thank you. Appreciate it.
If you guys have any connections,
Okay.
sometimes it's with the counselor, sometimes it's with the nurse. If you know somebody to put us in contact, we'd love to partner and streamline it.
Okay, I'll be sure to Coriati.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Council Tate.
Yes, ma'am. What high schools are you currently servicing?
We serve Woodlawn currently.
So what's the timeline for expansion to other high schools?
That will start first of the year. Yeah.
And I'm gonna piggyback off your council.
I will say we have a little partnership with Parker. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Parker. Yes.
So what can we do, as Councilor Alexander said, some of us have great relationships with principals and school board members. How can we get the expansion, into the schools, and how can we be assistants? I'm gonna mention what I said in the beginning, like communicating, making sure that we get this information out into community, like how far wide does the diaper and the wipe, we have days that are set, for community to pick up diapers, pick up wipes, and we would love to, be a voice as well to help you guys.
We have partnered a little bit with DREG and with the housing authorities, and they've been going around and passing out need diaper cards. So we started that. Our facility is located off Reverend Abraham Woods Jr. We have walk-in Wednesdays, 9 to 2 on Wednesday. So we can definitely communicate that. You have to be careful with the diapers. We don't want to do it too quickly, too fast sometimes. Like
Just like
it's a, yeah.
And it's all on your timeline. I mean, like when
We're
you
distributing 50,000 diapers a month at the changing station. So it is for staff and stuff. We just gotta balance that.
So that's the walk-in Wednesday.
That's the walk-in Wednesday.
Okay, so are you guys opposed to, like, we all have 9 districts, it's a total of 9, like, what about a pop-up, like if Madam Pro Tem wants to do something in her district, are you guys, how does the partnership look like?
Part of the program that we developed was partnering with housing authorities. So I think that would be a really good structured, I love pop-up stuff, but we're wanting to develop things that are consistent, reliable. Folks know they can go here and they can get diapers, and it's not they're here every 3 months or whatnot. We like to serve families monthly, so they can count on it. We're supplemental. We're not supplying all the diaper need for the family for the whole month. There's no way we'd be able to do that. So it is a week supplement. So the housing authorities was the approach that we felt like might be successful.
And I'm thinking about those that, may not have transportation.
Right.
So when you talk about North Birmingham, which is like one of my areas, or Ensley, or, District 9 is wide, how do you service those individuals who don't have, transportation to get to, the doctors?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's worth, exploring the partnership on what it looks like to house pop-ups, whatever you want to call them, in each district with your help as the voice for the district. Because I know each of you do something in your district, so maybe it becomes an ancillary part of another activity that's already happening. So yeah, we can definitely work with it.
And we have a mobile unit. That's for sure a possibility, for sure.
So just please get us some information. I mean, you can provide all our email addresses, and I would love to get this information out to, the constituents in District 9. I'm sure the other councilors would as well. Thank you.
Is there any way we can get like a budget for the expansion into all of the high schools? Or see what that would look like?
I love that.
Also,
I love that.
it's related but not related. So I know I'm a part of Junior League and we give diapers. Is this a part of the package, or does it service inner city Birmingham or surrounding areas? The
As far as
diapers,
Junior League, what was?
the diaper donations that we give. We do like a couple of drives every year.
Junior League's completely separate. We don't get any other diapers.
Okay.
Yeah, that's completely separate.
Okay. I was just wondering.
But if we want to talk partnership, we can always separate.
We love that.
We would love that. Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, up next we have Momentum Leaders. Slide 10. Cody is on top of it. So, Momentum is a woman-led 501c3 organization that has worked in Birmingham for over 20 years, specifically to advance women leaders in Birmingham. The project that Bold is supporting is directly linked to workforce development and also overcoming barriers for minority women and disadvantaged business leaders here in Birmingham. They will serve at least 50 Birmingham residents through Momentum Works is the name of the program. That initiative is going to provide professional leadership training, wraparound services, as well as access to professional expert resources. So let me pause there and invite your questions.
Councilor Abbott, do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Madam Pro Tem?
No, very familiar with Momentum, so I'm happy to see this is an opportunity to extend what they currently do.
Same. Councilor Tate?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very kind. Talk to me about Momentum Leaders. What is Momentum Leaders? I'm not as, I don't like that. That's my colleague down there. Talk to me about Momentum Leaders.
Yeah, so we advance women leaders here in Alabama. Andrea is our statewide director of programs. We have currently an executive leadership program, and we have cohort style is what we deliver on, 9-month programs. We also have an upward program for early career, which I went through before coming on staff to Momentum. And we are wanting to expand to reach more women here in Alabama, specifically Birmingham, where we got our start. And so this program will be free of charge to participants and will allow them access to advance their careers. We can't wait to deliver upon outcomes that we're currently seeing in our programs of promotion and upward mobility, increased salary. So very much looking forward to delivering those outcomes for more of Birmingham's women.
So what's the criteria to be a part of Momentum Mentor?
It varies based on the program. So for Momentum Works, obviously a City of Birmingham resident or a woman who owns a business in Birmingham. And we're looking for someone who is, looking to propel themselves forward. And so we're working with our project partners to help identify those referrals to our program. So it just varies based on the program, but we're really looking to impact women who don't always get flagged for those opportunities to participate in this program.
another part of my question, can you guys provide the information, like when does this start, like we wanna push this out?
Absolutely.
Another part, what's the age limit, you know, what's the starting age?
So we don't base on age, we really look at experience, years in the workforce. So this program being new, I would defer to Andrea for what she has identified with our project partners.
We don't anticipate an age limit on this program.
Please give us some information.
Yeah, we will.
Counselor,
I did have one question. The wraparound services, can you just give us an example of what they are, or who they're with?
So in terms of wraparound services, when I think about that, women who might participate in this program, we would provide a stipend for transportation potentially and a stipend for childcare. So we would not provide those services. But for the women who are coming into our program, we are working with several other organizations throughout the city to identify those women. Certainly if there are needs that we can help them identify, we don't provide social services, but we certainly know of partners that we can put them in touch with.
And as far as professional wraparound services that we provide in line with our program, we do mentoring. We see where we may lean on our Momentum alumni to provide loan executive opportunities for businesses and things like that. So that's largely coaching, things like that.
okay.
I just,
Madam
Madam Chair, I just want to say that I did read an article the other day, and it was talking about the impact over the past 2 years that ARPA dollars are infusing into assisting women, minority businesses, especially as they're challenged with childcare and transportation. So I think that's an excellent use of the wraparound services that you're going to provide, and that we can see that being trickled down here to Birmingham. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next organization.
All right, next we have Urban Impact. And that is going to be slide 14. Urban Impact is a Black-led 501c3 organization in Birmingham's 4th Avenue Business District or Civil Rights District. You may have heard of them because for a long while now they've been supporting Black businesses and enabling them to thrive in Birmingham's evolving economy. They applied for bold funding specifically to support their legacy entrepreneurship program for 24 Birmingham legacy businesses to be trained in succession planning, safeguarding legacies of long-established businesses, and finally facilitating intergenerational wealth and business ownership in Black communities. Let me pause there and invite any questions.
Okay, Madam President.
Yeah, thank you. I do want to ask the question. I know that significant part of one of the programs last year was dealing with our legacy businesses. So have we found some more legacy businesses, or will this just be an additional aid to those that we've already identified?
There's a combination of the two.
Okay.
So we have many that we've not identified
Okay.
and are just sort of skating under the radar. So we will sort of tag along for what we've already found, and then because they are such great partners to the 4th Avenue Business District, they know some as well. And so that is a part of what BOLD allows us to do, is continue these programs for supporting businesses. So one of our partners focus on just maintaining a registry, like where are they? And now this program is saying not only where are they, but how do we actually support them? And so they've identified the 24 that they will support through this program for this upcoming year.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I guess my question wasn't to mean that there's only a small number, so that's great that we're expanding this network. And then I see it's a 6-week course that would be involved. Just tell me just a little something about that as far as what your objective would be for this legacy business. Is it just to get them in tune with new technology or new ways that they could invest in their business?
Yeah, great question. So that's part of it, right? So digitization is a huge gap that we're missing in legacy businesses. So part of the 6-week course is the introduction, and not just introduction, but really hands-on how to use the one-on-one basics of technology. That's POS systems, right? That's making sure they have a website so they can be seen and visible. Another part of it is a market analysis, and so they're understanding the growth change in the market and how to adapt to that. And then part of that is strategic growth. So what happens after 10 years of business, right? What are strategic things you need to put into play to grow, and so you're not capped out on your revenue and your profit. And then the other part is how do they pass this down in succession? And so we can make sure they have identified somebody, if they're in their family or within their world, that they can now pass this down with the structural foundation.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Counselor Abbott?
Well, I was really excited to see succession planning in there, because whether you're black or white, if you die and you're the only person in the business who knows how to run it, then your business disappears. And that's really painful, especially for businesses that people have known and counted on for ages, and then all of a sudden they're gone because the owner died and didn't have a plan. So I thank you for that.
Counselor Tate?
Not questions, really, just saying us that, how about ask everyone, like, get the information to us so we can make sure that we put it out there, throughout the districts.
Yes. Thank you for what you do. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next organization.
Next is Diane's Heart, and that is going to be slide 12. Diane's Heart is a Black and woman-led 501c3 neighborhood-based organization. It was started in Inslee, and it continues to hold events in Inslee Entertainment District. Its mission is to help single moms specifically rise above statistics of poverty by providing a support system and access to financial resources. The funding that Bold is providing will support a program called She Knew There Was More. It provides coaching and mentoring for 30 women, including professional coaching, counseling, and along with guidance on goal setting and creating an execution strategy to reach those goals. Pause there.
Thank you. Counselor, do you have any questions? Madam President?
Well, I just want to
President?
thank you very much. I was very excited. I know you're on a podcast and you talked about some of the services that you provide, and I know that this was very important to some of the people that are in your program, because some of this fell out through COVID and how to keep people engaged. So do you plan to expand on that, or what is your coaching and mentoring that you really want to provide in this next go round? Because you are a repeat.
Yes, I have a repeat, thank you.
Yes.
So what we discovered in actually talking to our participants over this year to really see what the needs are, they love the virtual aspect of going through the coaching and mentoring program, but they want in person. So what we recognized too was that some were struggling to redirect their careers, to earn higher wages. So we are doing an event, my background is HR. It's called HR for Real. So we're doing more events this in 2024. We're also inviting them into our Operation Secure the Bag, which is a financial seminar that we do around Christmas time, so that they can really get access to asking those questions. We also recognize there were challenges with literacy, because our program is we have rigor in our program, so you have to keep the pace. So we actually were able to engage past graduates to come back and be advocates in the program to help walk through the actual technical difficulties. So there's gaps there digitally, as well as just literacy in general. So we've advanced in those areas for this year. And then the last thing is what we found is they want to budget. I think we all do. But how do we make it easier for them? And what we found is if it's in their hands, it's right at their fingertips, they will do it. And so we are partnering with a past graduate who is an app developer. Her app is called Dayroll. So each of our moms will actually get a Dayroll app subscription, and we're going to do budget parties for them to really help them focus on looking ahead with budgeting. So we've added some things over for 2024 to expand, not just the reach, but to go deeper with the moms.
Thank you.
Councilor Abbott?
It sounds great. Because if you don't know how to budget, you don't know how to, your life is a train wreck. So, I'm sure somebody's life is not a train wreck, maybe if they're a millionaire, but I mean, if you're counting every penny, this is just so very important to have, you know, have this information. So thank you.
Council Tate.
Thank you, Madam. Inslee, didn't know that. Surprise. Where are you located in Inslee?
We don't have a physical location actually, so our program is delivered virtually, and that was born out of COVID actually, and it works. I was raised in Inslee and still own property in Inslee as well. So I went back to where I came from to really support, and I still have family all over Inslee.
And it'll still be a virtual program?
It is still virtual, but we do our outreach and our events in Inslee, in the downtown Inslee district, so that we can stay in contact and connection with that community. We try with our outreach to be strategic. We have partners in Inslee to help refer moms to our programs. We do have a wait list right now, but we still continue to recruit participants. Our event coming up in December is one of our catchment opportunities to bring in more people from those areas as well.
I'm just gonna say it again, like I said previously, can you give me information to us so we can make sure that we push it out?
Yes.
To spread the word.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next organization.
All right, next up we have Is Able Center. And that is going to be slide 9. All right, the Is Able Center is a Black-led 501c3 neighborhood-based organization with the mission to enhance the quality of life for individuals with disabilities, their loved ones, and their caregivers. The project is going to be supported by BOLD, specifically supports workforce development and overcoming barriers for 60 Birmingham residents by providing employment training, stipends, wraparound services, and financial management training. I'll pause there. Actually, before I pause, I just want to say one more quick thing, and this is Mr. Lorenzo Brown, and I know you are interested in year-over-year progress, and I just want to highlight Mr. Brown had 200% to goal across all of this year's metrics, and we're just really very impressed with the work that he's doing and the services he's providing to Birmingham. So I wanted to say that and pause and let you ask any questions.
That's a good success story. Council Abbott.
You know, I was just so impressed when I read this because all my life my aunt was in a wheelchair from having polio, and I saw all the struggles that she went through, and so I was just kind of taken with this because I thought how much she needed a program like you have, and you know, you've got it. I mean, you've made a success of yourself, and you're going to help others, which I was just really taken by this. But I don't have any questions. I just have something nice to say.
Madam President.
No questions, just congratulations. Glad to see the growth and the opportunities that you're bringing to the community. So thank you.
Council Tate.
No questions. Congratulations on your 200%. And again, like I've asked everybody else, just please give me, some information. What areas do you service?
We are in our apartment and we have served cars.
Carver, that's my
surprise.
Okay.
And then in January, we actually just get my voice back. I haven't got all the way back, but we're going to be going into all of the Birmingham City schools targeting providing services.
Very good.
Please give us some information.
Yes, I want to say thank you for this because I went to Epic Elementary School where, we learned how real life basically at the ages 5, 6, 7, 8, and really having classes with people with disabilities, PE, and I saw as I got older that they supported the kids, but once they became adults, there weren't a lot of services out there. So I want to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, last one.
All right, Meds Plus Consulting. That is going to be you got it out. You're on it. Don't have to worry about anything, so you learn. All right, Meds Plus Consulting is a Black and woman-owned independent pharmacy and healthcare consulting firm in Birmingham. This project will utilize BOLD funding to provide community-centered healthcare service delivery, to provide A, workforce development for 3 new community health workers, and B, to actually go into the community and provide diabetes prevention services to 60 Birmingham residents, which we know will help overcome barriers to employment opportunities. Not there.
Madam Pro Tem, do you have any questions?
Now, I heard you say something about pharmacy consulting firm. Weren't you all active during the COVID and you were giving,
Yes, ma'am. Allow me to introduce
Yes,
myself. I'm Dr.
please.
Jennifer Campbell, co-founder of Meds Plus Consulting, independent consulting, and this year we actually launched our pharmacy.
Okay.
So it's kind of, I won't say unusual, it's modern, because we're actually in the New South Federal Building, and you have to take the elevator to come get your prescription. Like we're in New York or something. My co-founder is not here. She's Dr. Pauline Long. However, one of our longtime partners,
Brittany Jenkins, founder and CEO at Jenkins Public Health Consulting.
But yes, to answer your question, we were very instrumental with providing COVID vaccines, community-based COVID vaccines, which really helped us change our business plan. We co-founded in 2018, so that was in 2021, and we saw the need of the community was so great. So we actually became more community-minded than we were before in helping our patients and just communities at large.
Well, I want to thank you because I know that you were very active. We know the high school in that area, so appreciate what you did and really the aid that you gave to the community. So if this particular program through the diabetes prevention, we know how that affects our community. So I thank you very much. Thank you.
Councilor Abbott.
Well, I just think that it's so important to educate people about diabetes because that is just to me one of the most devastating diseases you can have. It takes all your money and then it takes your eyesight and your kidneys and your legs and you know, it just goes downhill from there. And people really need to understand that the things they do are what brings some of it on. Now, not all of it, but you know, if you don't live a healthy lifestyle, it'll come get you. Yeah, so, and I know too many people that it's come and gone. So I'm really glad to see this one. 60 residents. That's great.
Councilor Tate.
Yes, ma'am. So the 3 new community workers will be your diabetes educators?
So, we are accredited as certified diabetes educators. They will go through a community health, basic community health worker program. We partner with Connection Health, a nonprofit here in Birmingham, to do the initial training. Then we'll train them on diabetes care. So not necessarily the whole package, so there'll be like peer support, but we'll actually have a pharmacist that will be conducting the classes in the community, and they'll be there to provide support in class and outside of class, because we know a lot of time when information comes at you, it's kind of hard to, you know, take it all in. So just to be there as a support, because sometimes if someone, family member or someone they don't know what they experience. So to be able to help them to be peer support, to get to those better self-care behaviors, as Councilor Abbott was talking about, how to live a healthy lifestyle, making better food choices. And by bringing the services to the community, we want to break down that barrier of transportation. It takes a lot just to get to the doctor's office, so now I have to go back for an education class. So we want to be able to bring that to the community and then let that group be a support for each other in the community as well.
Okay. So, I'm just trying to see how can we all fit into this with you guys, like, you know, bringing it to the educational portion to, you know, each of the district, like what does a partnership look like? Then I heard you talking about you guys in pharmacy service. What does that look like for people that want to? Do you guys fill prescriptions?
Yes, ma'am. We fill prescriptions, we deliver, and we blister pack, and we educate.
Okay.
So how do we get all this good information to all 9 of these districts?
I just need an email address.
But we can certainly make that happen.
I'm sure Coriata and Rachel
Well, thank you. I'm excited for each and every one of you all, and we look forward to working with all of you, getting all of these good services to the constituents of these 91 neighborhoods.
We're very excited too. Thank you.
How will you identify the residents that you'll serve?
So with the residents, we will have a questionnaire, so we'll be posted like in libraries. That's pretty much where we identified 2 communities, which would be Titusville and 5 Points West. I used to work at 5 Points West at CVS, but and kind of see if they've had diabetes care and education before, making sure that they have, screening them for tech services, if they can have an iPhone or that type of capability, because we do want to be able to get them on the app, because we're not going to be there all the time. So we want to make this sustaining and how to use it and get them to overcome that barrier as well. So so that's what Brittany's going to come in. She's going to help us to identify.
Yeah, with the recruiting and onboarding process for how the community health workers will work with those individuals who are in the program.
Well, I'm glad you're coming to Titusville. We do have a lot of residents I know that will appreciate this. Just knowing quite a few people personally who have had both type diabetes, this is so important. And really, I would like to see maybe if you guys do cooking classes, maybe just cooking classes, like teaching people how to just use maybe 3 or 4 vegetables and make it tasty, because a lot of times a lot of people think that it's nasty to eat healthy, or just really helping with the food insecurity in both of these areas. So.
And that's part of the 7 care health behaviors will teach. And anytime we do classes, we always try to get a real life person that does that to come in. So yeah, we will incorporate that into the classes.
Okay, and whatever help you need, spreading the word, just let me know.
Madam Chair, one kind of question.
Yes.
Can you provide us like a fact sheet, like a lot of us go to our houses of worship where we can get it, to the parishioners and put it in the churches?
That's actually one of the things that is on the board to do, because we had a lot of partnerships during that time, when we were in the community with partners in different churches, libraries, and et cetera. But yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you very much.
Councilor Abbott.
Well, I was just thinking about that educational part. I know at our church we have a food pantry, and we have lots of clients, and you'll hear them say something like, "Oh, I just give all those old vegetables away. I don't, they got boxes of food, and they're healthy. I mean, mostly healthy." But you'll hear people say, "Well, I give my neighbor all the vegetables because I don't like to fool with them," and all kinds of other weird comments. And of course, our food industry creates so much garbage. It's all made out of white flour, white sugar, bad, unhealthy fats. It's awful. And ironically, drugstores have some of the worst food in them for people who are in a hurry. But it's usually all horrible. So I do think that educational handouts, maybe we could put one in each food box, when people get their food, so that they at least give it some thought that they should not just give away or throw away all the stuff that's healthy and just keep the junky stuff.
It is, but we have to remember generationally how people have been taught. And it's a mindset change, and that's why those in-person classes are so important. Your average African-American person going to a diabetes educator, that educator does not look like them. And they're talking about avocados. I'm different. I like avocados. And most things healthy. But my husband, he's a meat and potatoes man. He likes brown meat, brown gravy, white rice, or white potatoes. Most of our plates look beige. So you have to kind of talk to people from the aspect of nutrition. It's okay to get full, but what do those nutrients look like? And then you're surprised later on when you develop hypertension, high cholesterol, and diabetes. So those are good, but if they are planning to go by Burger King on the way home, they're going to throw that away with the wrapper. But For those that need the information that are lacking, that is a good source of information to supplement if they're not in a class until they can get to a class.
Yeah, I mean, a brochure isn't gonna help everybody, but if it helps one person
Yes.
keep
Yeah.
from getting diabetes, it would probably be worth all those trees that we would kill down by, tear down by making brochures.
And then last thing to go off what Council Abbott said, and ways how to preserve fruits and vegetables, because I know there are little tricks you can use to preserve, like your lettuce and your kale. That I don't think a lot of people know. Very inexpensive ways as well. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any lasting comments?
I just wanted to thank you all so much because it's really only with your support and even people who are contributing their time like Jeff that bringing this amazing crew. And quite honestly, the last thing I want to say is thank you to all of you because if you didn't exist and you weren't serving Birmingham every day, this wouldn't exist. So thank you all so much.
Okay.
You're on my Christmas list, Rachel.
Wow, I got promoted today.
Well, if
Madam
there,
Chairman, I would like
yes.
to make a motion that we just approve all of the bold proposals at one time since we've
Yes.
just heard all of them.
Yes.
So I move approval.
Items 13 through 19?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those items pass. Thank you, guys. Okay, next item is item 21. It's item 21, an agreement between the City of Birmingham and Disability Rights and Resources Incorporated. They will be awarded funds under the Community Development Block Grant in the amount of $2,400,000.
You can do 22 and 23, Madam Chair.
Okay, item 22 is with an agreement between City of Birmingham and Woodlawn United. They will be awarded funds under the same grant in the amount of $1,803,402. And this is for rehabilitation services as well. And number 23 is an agreement with the city and Cornerstone Revitalization Foundation. And that is an amount of $2.4 million.
Is that WBT? Oh, yeah. I can't see it. Oh, Corey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Megan Venable Thomas. I serve as Director of Community Development. And I'm here with
Corey Stallworth, I serve as Senior Deputy Director of Community Development.
And we're very excited to be bringing before you an update on our critical repair program. And so I can go through a little bit of where we are, what we know, and then why we're bringing before you today these three folks who will be administrators for our critical repair program for the next 2 years. And so, as you all know, we did a kind of intake fair back in February where we received over 800 applications for our 250 service pool for our critical repair program, which was a huge demonstration of the need and the demand for this work. Unfortunately, we can only serve 250. However, 250 is triple the amount that we've done of critical repairs over the past 3 years. So we really are upscaling this program. And we have to date also really refurbished the program in order to be more efficient. So since April, when our team came in, we have cleared the 100+ backlog of critical repairs that were in our system and are now ready to advance forward with this new 2-year program year. So just to give you a little bit of data, because we thought this was really interesting and an important opportunity to kind of find out who we're serving with this program. And so, as you can see here in this first slide, 165 of our 250 folks that we'll be serving are over 64. Female 201 are female. 248 are African American, and 220 are unmarried. And so when we talk about like the why of this program, it really is because the pool of folks that we are servicing are folks who are women, who are seniors, and who are single and often maybe unequipped to have done deferred maintenance over a long period of time. And some of these repairs have gotten away from them. And so as we think about our prevention mechanisms, which is not what this program is, right? We're addressing the need here, but when we think about how we get upstream to prevention, really how we're targeting those groups and being able to increase education and opportunity for how we get to prevention and not having to do as many critical repairs. So when we look at the timeline, just to take us a little bit back to how we got here, we did this intake, over 800 applications. We have 700 here, but it was actually over 800. We then did some eligibility notifications were sent, or income and residency verifications happened in March through May. So we had to go through all of those applications. My team did that, which was really a large undertaking. We then in June sent out eligibility notifications via regular mail. We then began to do inspections. So we have already done 100 inspections of the 250. So we've already begun the program rolling so that we can understand internally what the needs are and verify how we're going to get out our contractors, our administrators out there to do the work. So we're still always involved in this process as the city. Our housing inspectors go out and determine what the need is. Then the administrators will do the process, and I'll show a little bit more of what that process is. But then our inspectors come back out at the very end and verify that the work was done well and to our standard, to HUD standard, in order to make sure that it gets checked off. In September, we did a contractor fair and an administrator's contract negotiation. We then submitted and had approved by OCA those contracts. 50% of those home inspections were completed by October. In November is where we are now. We're sending this before Budget and Finance for your review. We'll then go to council review and the administrative onboarding, on to contract signatures and POs issued to then be able to commence work in January. So you can just kind of understand what the timeline is. So we're projecting that in 2024 we'll do about 125 homes, and then in 2025 another 125 homes, which will get us to this 250 number. A little bit more notable data points, again showing some of what our pool of applicants and folks that we're supporting are experiencing. So about half have disability, and predominantly the homes were built before 1978 or before, so also thinking about some of the challenges that the homes might be needing. And then predominantly folks don't have flood insurance, and so when we talk about some of the issues that folks are experiencing, roofs and other things like that are really important because the insurance is not covering some of the repairs that are needed on homes. And so again, why deferred maintenance is getting away from people and why we need critical repairs. Just so you can see a little bit of a breakdown by district, so you can see, you wanted the information of the 250 where these folks are living and where we'll be doing these services, really spreading them out across districts. But you can see here kind of where the need is and where we'll be providing these services. And this is not the only opportunity, so we can talk a little bit more about ARPA dollars and other spaces where funds can go to help provide additional support.
Sorry. I was going to ask, what about the ARPA funds we gave?
Yeah, we can talk about, you want to talk about that now?
No.
Okay. So then approved homes by neighborhood, you can see here just for information, so you can kind of see where the neighborhoods are that these 250 homes will be located in. Repairs based on homeowner request. So then you can see here some of the larger needs that people are asking for or needing in their homes. Roofing is one of the top, as well as painting and then structural repairs.
but we also do plumbing, heat, air, electrical, through our critical repair program. This is a bit of a workflow, so you can just kind of see this is very different from how this process used to work, which we actually used to take every single contract before, as you may remember, before council, which really bogged down our system because we're not the speediest always, and so everything would take a little bit more time, every contract. And so that's why we really moved to this administrator model, where we approve the administrators who then handle each of the contracts that will go forward with the contractors to do the work. And then we still have our own touch point with the process at the beginning and at the end. So to get to the funding, so this is kind of the breakdown of the 250. So you all have a more explicit breakdown in what you receive, but happy to talk more about that. But this is at the high level, the funds that will go toward each of our administrators. Disability rights and resources will get 2.4 for 80 homes. Cornerstone Revitalization will get 2.4 for 80 homes. And then Woodlawn United will get 1.8 for 60 homes. That gets us to 220. And then the remaining 30 comes from within servicing our program, our current community development housing agencies that we approved through our action plan. So those are ones that are already working, have already been approved in our last action plan that will do that 20. And then Councilor Clark had 10 specifically within our program to be able to service her district, which gets us to that additional 10, the 30 that gets us to 250. I will also mention that we have Habitat Strengthening Alabama Homes Partnership, our Protecting Good, that's doing 180 roofs. So that will be able to supplement some of these dollars. Each of these organizations get up to $30,000 per home, but that's not always needed. And so that allows additional flexibility in other places. And when we incorporate that 180 roofs through Habitat, that also takes away some of the money where it can be spent elsewhere, potentially, but we don't yet know that. So we wanted to account for that so you can see that, because as you saw, a large one of our repairs are roofs, and that takes some money off the table. But with this partnership, we're able to kind of supplement some of those funds, and hopefully that will allow us to do more with the money that we have allocated here. Now, to your point about additional ARPA funds that maybe any of the other councilors have set aside. So we can either do your projects within our program or without. And so some of the conversations that we've had are, some specific programming that you all have wanted to do in your own way, whether that is just facade improvements or whether that's a specific block. And so we set those aside outside of this program. However, if you are interested in doing it the way we're doing with this program, we can always pull that back in. That's up to $30,000 per home. That is for the kind of HUD identified critical repairs. So we can talk more about that. Happy to leverage you all's funds as you see fit. And so whether that's inside of our program or outside, we're happy to support.
Okay, I know I'd rather have the speediest, quickest way to get people serviced. I was at the NARAB community event, and someone came up and asked me about their grandmother's house about fixing the roof. And so you hear this all the time about a lot of elderly residents wanting to get this done. And also, just maybe in the conversation we had this about some of the contractors that we use, because sometimes there are a few homes we went to visit and that work wasn't complete when they were a part of the program in the past. So, yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah.
So, Madam Pro Tem.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, Councilor Abbott.
Well, this is one of my top 5 things that the city does. Top 5.
It's one of my favorites too.
I was very sad. Yes, I was looking for 10, but I didn't find it. But to me, this is fantastic because we have such a large number of older homes with older people in them. I'm qualified for all but one, of your criteria. And when you are a single female living alone, and I know some single men living alone have problems too, but fixing things, you don't ever seem to be able to do it. So we want to keep our homes, because if we don't, we get fewer CDBG dollars. So we can't win no matter what we do. We're so proud that we're tearing down all these houses, but that just gets us less money.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we were talking this week about one of the amazing qualities of Birmingham is that we have such beautiful housing stock from the 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s that a lot of other cities tore down and don't have. And so it's really important to us in the maintenance of the cultural fabric of our communities that we are able to keep our homes habitable, safe, beautiful, and these kind of deferred maintenance issues are those that really deteriorate and get us to our big problems in our snaggletooth neighborhoods. And we don't want the snaggletooth. We want to be able to maintain those homes and redevelop them and keep them viable. And this is part of that kind of prevention tool that we're trying to utilize to maintain our housing stock in Birmingham.
Yeah, and since the mayor's on the historical, whatever it is, commission of some sort appointed by President Biden, you know, we want to keep our historic homes. Do y'all ever do metal roofs, or do you only do asphalt?
Yeah, this the cost of the metal roof is so expensive, so it can get up to $20,000. So we try to at least go to like architectural shingles to have a better quality roof, but the metal roof is just too expensive long term.
Well, that's too bad, but understandable. You know,
But also a potential opportunity. There's other kinds of grants out there for, you know, resiliency and sustainability and green infrastructure. And so, to your point, these are some of the other things we want to be employing, and I know we're seeking out to be able to potentially.
So do we ever use hardy siding on wood houses that are rotted?
Yes, so that's what we have switched to. And what you don't see in your package is we have a standard of materials as well as appliances and equipment that contractors have to use. And hardy board is a part of that.
Yeah, I know there's several. Hardy isn't the only one.
Yes.
I think it's one of the most expensive.
Yes, so we can't specify, so we say hardy or similar.
Cement board
Yes.
siding. Okay, that's good. And the flood insurance, like on your screen, a lot of people didn't have flood insurance, but do you require people who are in a flood zone to get it
Yes.
if they're in one, but you don't require it for people that aren't in one?
No.
Okay, those are my questions. Thank you.
Councilor Tate.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Are you guys gonna take it for me after?
Yes,
I
we
see
will.
that. Thank you. This one was one of the leading contenders in your 250 from our county department. So we can talk about the additional offset that I had
Yes.
offline and come up with some robust ideas.
And I think now that you can see the numbers too, you can be able to say, okay, how do I want to weigh this? What do I want to do? What do I want to focus on? So, yeah, we're happy to.
So before we have to pause.
Yes.
With smiling
Yeah. Because look, District 8 and District 9 have some beautiful homes, antebellum homes that, you know, good roof repair will change the whole face of that house. So I'm excited for everyone.
So Dr. Thomas, protecting, you did about 180 roofs in that center city?
They're committed to
180. So, because I know that the last conversation, I think I did an update at you remember the state of the district, and I think some of that money was gonna go to like critical repair work, so that.
So what you're seeing on the screen is actually separate from the protecting visit. So here, we're proposing to take Strengthening Alabama Homes partnership out of the Druid Hills and Fountain Heights target area across the city. Now, because we had so much success there. In that footprint, we were able to do 100 roofs in Norwood, Fountain Heights, and Druid Hills. We have a great map that kind of pinpoints where those are. But because of that success, we want to grow it out to other neighborhoods.
So when did you anticipate that Strengthening Home Alabama school like hit in the January? Okay.
Yes.
Let's see back here, we're blind and you.
We've been working behind the scenes. You know, we don't like to give it away too early.
And please let us know so we can make sure that because I think that was an issue that some of the constituents didn't know. Even talking to the state representative, they say, hey, this is a citywide program and other people should be, and people didn't know. So we love to make sure we get that information out as soon as it starts, for those who are very interested in getting those 45 years.
Yeah, I want to commend you all. This is a lot speedier, quicker process to get these housing repaired, because usually it would take 3 years for even y'all to come to us. I'm really thankful Chief and the mayor have hired you all. I'm very impressed, seriously.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas, Director Starworth, you guys make a great team. I always tell them.
We have a great team.
And Courtney is back there.
Chris.
And Chris, y'all are doing some exceptional work. I know other councils are familiar with.
As long as Dak is not involved, we can get things done.
All right, on that note, is there a motion and a second?
I have to move on items 21 and 22, but I'm abstaining on 23.
Okay, we can.
So you want to do it separately?
Yeah, we can do
or
it separate. So, there's a motion and a second for approval for items 21 and 22. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those items pass. And then motion for approval.
Approval of 23.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye. One abstention.
And there's one abstention. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you all.
The next Budget and Finance Committee meeting will be on Monday, November 27th at 3:30 p.m. Because of the holiday submissions are due November 20th. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All in favor say aye. Aye.